everybody, I'm back. I'm just going to talk randomly about thoughts here. Not going to be any organization, not that there ever is. This morning I was watching Not Enougher's vlog talking about going back and reading Pounds and Inches, and that she feels for her personal well-being that she needs to stay pop and not adventure and try to replace things and all of that, experiment. And I have to say, for me, that's the case as well. I prefer to stay pop, with the exception to incorporating coconut oil. And I did do the yogurt and berry day, but I'm not going to continue to do that on a regular basis or anything. And not that there's anything wrong with it. So I had a lot of random thoughts about that, and I wish I could have written them down, but I don't really think it would have mattered anyways because they were jumbled in my head. So this is kind of like me talking to myself, and maybe you'll find some gems in it, or agree, or whatever. Maybe you'll just click it and say, I think I'll watch somebody else that's more informative or exciting to watch. I was thinking about Pounds and Inches and, well, about what Nuffers was saying and other people's thoughts as well, and my own thoughts, that when Simeon's had studied and started to collect all of his information for Pounds and Inches, when he did his study with his original patients and all that, it was a different world, okay? I mean, the soil, the grade of the soil that our vegetables and produce are produced from was different. There wasn't seeds, our produce seeds were not so messed with GMOs and all of that, and just things were so much more untainted. So I think that when he was giving us the amounts of the quantities of food that we can eat and the mixtures of the food that we can eat, that was what was appropriate for then, for how our world was then. And I'm sure things have changed. I mean, yes, things have changed. However, his study, him personally studying, there's, that study didn't continue. So I'm sure if he was around, and many of you guys have said this too, or thought it, that he would have made some additions and changes in his protocol. Just like with pharmaceutical studies, one day it's okay to take Prozac, and the next day you might kill your entire family if you take Prozac or whatever. Like, no offense to anybody who's taken Prozac or anything like that. One day it was okay, and everybody was like, on the NutraSweet wagon or aspartame wagon, and now there's a bunch of studies out there that this stuff is deadly. So my point is that experimentation and studies continue, and his protocol, at least via his original protocol, didn't continue. And so when we do go mop, rogue, whatever you want to say, it's kind of like a continuation of study, of continuing on his study, and experiment and see what works and what does not work. So I think that that's actually a good thing. However, I do think that we need to keep it in mind to keep it simple. And that's why I like to stay pop. I like to keep it simple because, you know, the reason why most of us, well, I have a thyroid issue, so it's not necessarily for me, but most people have the weight issues because of, you know, how their relationship with food and their relationship with their body. I can be included in that list. You know, thyroid issues or not, it's, you know, I've had to be talked down from eating ice cream and whatever, pizza. So I think that when we're keeping it simple and we're adding the proper amounts of, you know, the protein and the produce and the grissini. Well, I'm not doing the grissini, but I do think it's important to add that intermittently, at least throughout your rounds, because when you omit it entirely, then I believe that's when you have a problem when you go to stabilize. Because when you go into P3, your body has been reprogrammed. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to reprogram your whole system, to reset it, to reset the hypothalamus. And I don't know how possible it is to at least in my mind, how you can reset the hypothalamus if you're not keeping the basics in your P2 that you're most likely definitely going to have as a base to your P3, in addition to wanting to introduce other food groups, and then you know, obviously onto P4 life maintenance. So that's my thought on that. And you know, that's my thought on that. I think we all have to do what works best for us, but the base of Simeon's protocol, that seems to be the best to stay as close to as possible. Otherwise, we're just going to end up going into P3 and thinking that we can, you know, sneak a nibble here or a nibble there of sugars and starches, or not read a label, and then we wonder why we didn't stabilize. So that's my thought on that. I'm going to keep this short. I don't know if my thoughts came out and made sense or not. So I guess I'll check in with you guys later. Okay, I'm going to shush up.